The 2025 season is just around the corner, and these are my best and worst case scenarios for the Arkansas Razorbacks this season. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we're powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. The anticipation is building for another big season in Fayetteville as the Arkansas Razorbacks prepare to take the field. Guys, the question simply is this: what's the best case and worst case scenarios for Sam Pittman's program this upcoming season? And guys, the first thing I want to look at is Arkansas's schedule. I feel like that's always a hot topic of conversation because routinely, for whatever reason, Arkansas continues to draw one of the most difficult slates the entire conference has to offer. So guys, as we take a look at this season's schedule, this one certainly is as difficult as any as they've had over the past couple seasons. You do open up in non-conference play. You kind of ease into the season. You get Alabama A&M in week 1, Arkansas State in week 2, which is the Little Rock game, and I believe the final year of the Little Rock game, which I know many people around that program are really thrilled that that is the case. You get going in SEC play week 3. You are at Ole Miss to open up SEC play. Then you got a really tricky non-conference game the following week at Memphis. Then Notre Dame comes to town. So your non-conference gets serious really, really quickly. You do get a bye week. Then you jump back into conference play. You're at Tennessee, who's going to be looking for revenge. Texas A&M at home. Auburn at home. Mississippi State at home. So a nice 3-week stretch there of home games in Fayetteville. You then get a bye week where you take on LSU in Death Valley, at Texas, and Mizzou to close out the season. Guys, it's another gauntlet. I mean, it is. It's another gauntlet for Arkansas. But here's the thing. If you're an Arkansas fan, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because the schedule's the schedule. Like, you have a tough schedule every single year, right? You're not some of the others in the conference who get a more favorable draw. You just have a tough schedule. You've always had a tough schedule, right? I mean, you look, the road games are difficult. At Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at LSU, at Texas. I mean, that's as tough a road draw I think there is in the conference. And then coming to Fayetteville, I mean, guys, Texas A&M and Auburn both come to your place. Mizzou comes to your place. The non-conference with that back-to-back at Memphis and Notre Dame, really tough games. Again, guys, the road trip to Memphis, that's no joke, right? I mean, that's a very losable game for Arkansas. But with all that being said, a lot of opportunity in this schedule. What if you take down Ole Miss and Oxford? What if you can beat Memphis and you go into the Notre Dame game at home with a 4-0 record? I'm just saying, let's play the hypotheticals. You can go to Rocky Top. What is Tennessee going to be? Heck, Texas A&M catches hype every year, but what are they going to be? And also, that game's not in Jerry World anymore, right? So all of a sudden, maybe the tide turns in that football game. What is Auburn? What is Mississippi State? Both of those may not be very good at all, right? LSU, Texas, back-to-back is pretty brutal at the end of the season. There's no other way to slice it. But then you get Mizzou at home. So there's always two ways to look at things. And again, I think in the preseason, we have a bad habit of kind of logo watching and making teams out to be like everybody's going to be great. Some teams are going to disappoint, guys. And maybe if you have some of those on your schedule that aren't quite as good as we're expecting, might open the door to some unexpected wins for Arkansas this upcoming season. But guys, when it comes to best case scenario, worst case scenario for the Arkansas Razorbacks this season, when I look at the best case, I've got 7-5. I think 7 wins, and I understand, guys, what the expectations of Fayetteville are. This is probably what Sam Pittman's got to get to retain his job and be back in 2026. I think 6-6 or worse, and the Hogs will be looking for a new coach, whether it's due to Sam Pittman retiring or the administration moving on and firing him. I do not think Sam Pittman will have an opportunity to be the head coach in 2026 if they go 6-6 or worse. And again, this isn't my word. This is from talking to people who are on the scene there covering the Hogs. But guys, best case, I just think with the schedule and I think the reality of where the roster is, I think a 7-5 season, certainly if you got to 8-4, I think that would be an incredible this season, this year for the Hogs. And guys, in a best case scenario, Taylor Green is that dude on a week-in, week-out basis. I mean, I could sit here and tell you a bunch of different things. Certainly, you need the offensive line to play well. Replace some Braylon Russell, replaces production lost by Jaquindon Jackson. Somebody emerges, just somebody at the wide receiver position. Is there a number one? Maybe not, but somebody emerges on the outside to assist and be Taylor Green's go-to guy. The defense under T. Will, obviously, continues to be a bright spot and one of the more underrated units of the conference. But this ceiling, to me, comes down to Taylor Green. I just flat out. Like, there's going to have to be some weeks where Taylor Green turns into Superman and Taylor Green just takes over. I mean, that's the bottom line for me. So, again, going back to the schedule, 7-5 guys in a best-case scenario, I mean, I don't even know if in a best case you're going 4-0 in non-conference play. I don't. Are you going to sweep both Memphis and Notre Dame? I don't know, man. I think realistically, because it's a realistic best case, worst case now. Realistically, 3-1 I think is probably realistically your best case scenario in non-conference. Which again, maybe you go 4-0, even in that scenario, like. If you go 4-0 in non-conference, your SEC wins. Hey, Mississippi State you feel really good about. After that, which ones do you feel really good about that Arkansas could win or even should win? I think Auburn at home is a huge opportunity, right? Ole Miss on the road early is interesting. What are they? Missouri at home, last game of the season. I mean, what's Mizzou going to be, right? At Tennessee, even though I think they'll be licking their chops and ready for some revenge. But, what are they with Joey Aguilar? Again, I just think realistically, when you kind of split the difference here, 7-5 feels right to me. Again, guys, I go back to the roster. You look at the schedule. It's going to be unforgiving. I think you can get to 7 wins. I think anything more than that, it just feels a little bit unrealistic. Worst case scenario, guys, and I mean, you got to think again, Arkansas is another one of those kind of like an Auburn, kind of like an Oklahoma, where your coach is on a scorching hot seat, and if things go poorly early, it can really, really spin out of control. Guys, my worst case for Arkansas is 4-8. I mean, guys, I think there's a scenario where I don't think you go defeated even in a worst case in SEC play, but there's a scenario you only win one SEC game. Very realistically, you only win one SEC game. In a worst case, guys, it's just Taylor Green can't do it alone. Nobody steps up at wide receiver. There's nobody on this roster that's like a big play threat on the outside. You can't replace the rushing production that was lost with Jaquindon Jackson. The offensive line under Sam Pittman continues to underwhelm. And some of the defensive pieces you lost, right? Like T. Will, as good as a DC he is, what if he's not able to overcome that and coach him up and get the most out of him, right? So I think 4-8 is in the cards, and especially, guys, like we mentioned, with the schedule. If you go back and look at it, I mean, guys, you're going to win your first 2 games. But what if you lose at Ole Miss? What if you lose to Memphis and Notre Dame, and you're sitting there at 2-3? I mean, where is this team going to be mentally if they start the season 2-3? Because it gets no easier. Road trip to Knoxville, Texas A&M at home. Guys, you could be 2-5. And at that point, like, does Sam Pittman make it to the end of the season? So I think 4-8 is in the cards. If some things don't work out, does the truth probably lie somewhere in the middle? Probably so. But I think the margins are just going to be so razor thin for Arkansas because, admittedly, guys, I don't think this is a high-level SEC roster. I just don't think this is a roster built to win at a high level in the SEC this year. And I don't think that bodes well for the future of Sam Pittman in Fayetteville. So, guys, again, when I look at it, I've got best case for the Hogs, 7-5, worst case at 4-8. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? We'd love to hear your thoughts. What's your best case and worst case scenarios for the Arkansas Razorbacks this season? Guys, that's going to do it all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Before we get out of here, I do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel because, as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Guys, on Tuesday, August the 26th, mark that on your calendars, it's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for football fans. It's 24 hours of deals on all your favorite season or football season predictions. So take a flyer on the MVP race, right? Whether you're going to pick Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, whoever it might be. Crown your champion in August. Maybe you're picking the Lions, you're picking the Chiefs, you're picking the Eagles, you're picking the Ravens, whoever it is. Or You can parlay your division winner dark horses. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, and your odds. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game over at FanDuel.com/SECU. That's FanDuel.com/SECU to get your deposit bonus today. Once again, FanDuel, play your game. Guys, once again, that's going to do it for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. Till next time, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you on the other side.